Hi everyone, this is Etkin Getir. I'm going to present my latest study, which is about designing a non-technical cybersecurity framework for microbusinesses. Here's a brief look at my presentation plan. I will start by defining what a microbusiness is. Then I will go through my research questions and methodology. I will elaborate on the cybersecurity challenges microbusinesses face, followed by a very brief discussion of the existing frameworks and tools, and if they work for microbusinesses. Then I will introduce the SEANCE framework, which is the center of gravity of this presentation. And I will talk a little bit about SEANCE cybersecurity tool and the follow-up survey I conducted. Finally, I will finish the presentation with conclusions. Now, I want to set the stage by defining what a microbusiness is. As you can see on the slide, there are three different yet similar definitions of the term microbusiness. Generally, organizations with or less than 10 people are considered a microbusiness. However, in the EU and UK, a turnover criterion applies as well. In the EU, microbusinesses are expected to have a turnover of less than 2 million euros, whereas in the UK, the businesses with less than 332k English pounds are considered micro. So, in a nutshell, microbusinesses are the smallest subset of small to medium enterprises. So, why are the microbusinesses are so important? Even though the microbusinesses are the smallest companies in the economy, their footprint is not small at all. As you can see on the screen, microbusinesses account for almost 94% of all businesses and almost 17% of total turnover and 30% of total employment in the EU. Likewise, in the UK, microbusinesses constitute 95% of all businesses, 19% of total turnover, and 32% of total employment. On the right-hand side, you can see an excerpt from the 2024 edition of the UK Cybersecurity Breaches Survey, according to which 47% of the microbusinesses have identified a breach or an attack in the last 12 months. Considering all these numbers, cyber attacks toward microbusinesses may potentially have a disruptive effect on the economy. And these findings call for a novel approach tailored specifically for microbusinesses. Now, I'd like to elaborate on my research questions and methodology. For this study, I had three research questions. First question is all about exploring the existing cybersecurity frameworks that are applicable to the microbusinesses. The second question aims to identify the relevant aspects of the existing cybersecurity frameworks that are relevant to microbusinesses. Finally, the third research question explores if it's possible to design a non-technical cybersecurity framework that microbusiness owners can that can help microbusiness owners to model the threats towards their businesses in the absence of cybersecurity expertise and knowledge. During the study, I followed the 7-step methodology. I started with a literature review and an initial survey to find out the existing frameworks, methods, and tools, as well as the challenges microbusinesses face in terms of cybersecurity. After an analysis of the results, I tried to identify the relevant aspects of the existing frameworks. Then, I developed a non-technical cybersecurity framework based on the findings and conducted another survey to validate the research objectives. In the final step, I analyzed the results of the follow-up survey. As far as the cybersecurity challenges microbusinesses face, we can group them into three. First of all, Since these types of businesses run on a very low budget, they are subject to budgetary constraints, and they usually lack the financial means to invest in the cybersecurity solutions or hire a cybersecurity expert. Second, these businesses are usually understaffed, with employees with many different responsibilities. Most micro business owners are sole traders, in which the business owners are responsible for literally anything. So, in such businesses, cybersecurity measures are only as good as the owner knows, and there's simply not enough time to contemplate about cybersecurity when there are more urgent to do. The last, but not the least, most micro business owners do not have a formal cybersecurity background, so they tend to lack the required cybersecurity knowledge. Below the list of the challenges, you can see the answer of the participants to my question in the initial survey, in which they named the lack of time and lack of personnel with cybersecurity expertise as the top two challenges they face. These challenges have three potential implications, as you can see on the right-hand side of the slide. First, there's a lack of awareness about the cybersecurity challenges that the businesses are susceptible to and what needs to be done to mitigate them. Secondly, the micro businesses usually have poor detection mechanisms in place, and usually they don't have any. And finally, employees in such businesses tend to neglect cybersecurity best practices, further aggravating the situation. As for the existing frameworks, tools, and techniques, there's a plethora of them, ranging from fully fledged methodologies and frameworks like Cyber Kill Chain, or those for application security professionals like Stride, to simple techniques like persona non grata, or privacy-focused methodologies like Linden. All of these were found to be either irrelevant for micro businesses and too complex for micro business owners, with probably the only exception of Cyber Essentials Readiness Toolkit, which was fairly easy for micro business owners to use. However, it was too narrow in scope. However, some aspects of these frameworks were identified to be relevant for micro businesses and later incorporated into the new framework. After identifying the challenges and the relevant aspects of the existing frameworks and tools, a new framework was designed. I will now present the SEANCE framework. The SEANCE framework has 5 basic features. It's non-technical, so that all micro business owners, regardless of their background, can easily use it. Since the aim of the framework is to create a behavioral change toward a more cyber-aware mindset, it was designed to be an easy-to-remember mnemonic. As you can see on the right-hand side, the initials of each layer make up the word SEANCE. We will cover each layer in detail in a moment. Although it is quite straightforward, it is aligned with industry best practices. Furthermore, it is essence-centric, so non-technical people can easily appreciate it. Finally, it proposes an inside-out layered approach with the underlying idea that the weakness in an inner layer should be prioritized as it propagates to the outer layers. Here's an overview of the SEANCE framework. As you can see, it starts with the innermost layer, namely self, and goes all the way out to the 6th and outermost layer, namely environment. The key themes in each layer are indicated in green boxes. Now, let's take a deep dive into the layers. In the first layer, the focus is on the micro business owner. Remember, this is the innermost layer, so the decisions made by the business owner will affect the rest of the organization. For example, If the microbusiness owner doesn't have a password policy and doesn't enforce it, it's very unlikely that employees will follow password best practices, leading to vulnerabilities in assets and the network. It also covers some of the most important concepts in today's business world, such as business continuity planning, incident response plans, and cybersecurity insurance. As the name suggests, the second layer focuses on employees. This includes the full-time, part-time, seasonal, and most importantly, remote employees. User accounts and identity and access management and cyber awareness training are among important considerations in this layer. Layer 3 is all about assets, not just computers or other devices, but all of the data that the organization owns and manages, as well as the cloud services, websites, or email accounts are considered an asset. As I mentioned earlier, the SEANCE framework is an asset-centric framework. So this layer is particularly important in terms of an organization's cybersecurity posture. The fourth layer focuses on the interaction between corporate assets, the business owner, employees, and the outside world. Traditional tools such as firewalls and routers, as well as modern concepts such as managed service providers and shared responsibility model are among the topics covered here. The fifth layer is the thinnest in the framework because microbusiness owners do not have direct control over customers. However, the behavior of customers has a significant impact on the cybersecurity posture as they interact with the organization's assets, such as the website, ordering systems, and so on. What sets SEANCE framework apart from most other frameworks is its emphasis on privacy. As you know, privacy has gained prominence due to increased concerns about data breaches and unauthorized access to personal information, as well as ever-evolving privacy regulations. As a result, the privacy considerations in this layer are critical to protecting the organizations from potential liabilities that would result from non-compliance. The outermost layer can be thought of as the external boundaries of the organization, which almost always overlap with its physical perimeter. Most of the measures that should be taken at this layer are physical security controls that are less technical in nature, such as security cameras, locks, guards, and so on. In order to facilitate the implementation of the SEANCE framework, I developed a web-based SEANCE cybersecurity tool. The tool is obviously based on the SEANCE framework. It poses questions to the users, and when all the questions are answered, it provides actionable recommendations, a risk rating, and a data flow diagram of the business. The tool is accessible at seance-framework.com. To validate the SEANCE framework, I conducted a follow-up survey with some of the microbusiness owners who participated in the initial survey. Although the sample size was relatively small, 80% of the respondents said that they found the tool fairly easy, and 20% found it very easy. When asked what threats the SEANCE framework helped them to identify, lack of cyber insurance and lack of an incident response plan were among the most popular responses. 3 conclusions can be drawn from the study. First of all, as I mentioned earlier, existing frameworks, tools, and techniques are too technical for microbusiness owners. The complexity of the available tools prevents microbusiness owners without a technical background from taking advantage of the readily available cybersecurity know-how. In this context, non-technical frameworks and tools, such as the SEANCE framework and the tool developed in this project, can serve as an interface to help microbusiness owners access the information they need and improve the cybersecurity posture of their businesses. Finally, while classifying microbusinesses under the overarching umbrella of small and medium enterprises makes sense from an economic perspective, it hardly does so when it comes to cybersecurity. Microbusinesses have unique needs and challenges. For example, while larger SMEs have a larger budget to spend on cybersecurity, microbusinesses typically do not. Therefore, they need to be considered as a distinct category of business for cybersecurity purposes and require a unique approach. This brings to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or comments. Thank you very much.